the missing link to making a lot more money online. Now, in this video, I want to share one area with you that if you just double down on it for the next 60 days plus and ingrain this very simple behavior, it will completely transform your business. Now, before I do, I want to talk to you about training, something that you're going to relate to. Now, this happened to me in my early bodybuilding days. I was the guy that just went to the gym. I would eat, I would train hard, and I would grow for a little bit, and then I would stagnate. So what do I need to do to grow? What do I need to do to go to the next level? And I had a coach, I had a bodybuilding coach, and they started looking at grams and quantities and timing of training and reps and loading. And I was really introduced to the specificity of data. Eat this, let's track, let's do your weight, let's look at your recovery, let's track. And as a result, when I started to eat more and train differently and measure my lifts, things started to change. And then as I progressed through my coaching career, I started to realize that the minute things weren't moving forward, because I'd lost sight of my data. We find it pretty difficult in the early days with coaches to get coaches to take data seriously. And I'll tell you why that is. You see, when I go back to training for a second, whatever anybody told me about training, I had a very clear goal. I started at just under 80 kilos. I had a very, very clear goal to get over 100 kilos lean, which means I needed to add 20 kilos of weight, which I ended up doing. And if somebody told me that I had to eat this and do that and track this and do that, I did it. I had a very, very clear goal. You see, a lot of online coaches, when they come to building an online business, they want more clients. There's no specificity. There's no real vision for your life. With my training and your training, you know what you want to achieve. And if somebody said the only way you're going to get there is by tracking your data every day, which most of you do it regardless. Now, you might think that I'm talking to a beginner coach here. I'm not. I'm talking to coaches that are earning 2 to 4K, 5 to 10K, 15, 20K. Even some of the coaches at 35, 40K are still not very good at analyzing and tracking their data and using data objectively to help them decide on the next move of their business. Coaches don't know what they're working towards. They know they want to make more money, get more clients, sign up more people, but you haven't got a handle of what that actually looks like from a data perspective. And therefore, the subject of this episode is I want to talk to you about numbers. If I say to a coach, before I even start talking to you today, tell me your numbers. What's your turnover of the business right now, last month? What's the amount of profit that you made in the business? The amount of money that was actually yours? Not sure. Pull up your Stripe account. Okay, yeah. Pull up the trackers that show me what you did to get to where you wanted to be. What's the goal you're working towards? Is there any real appreciation for what you're trying to achieve? And honestly, is there any wonder that you're not where you want to be? Because at the beginning of the week, you are not looking at what outcome is. You're not forecasting what needs to happen to get you to where you want to be. I just want to let that sink for a second for you. Look at an area of your life where you have been very data focused and look at the outcome of being very religious with the data and ask me whether or not, or ask yourself whether or not the outcome that you received was a result of how meticulous you were with the data. I don't want to continue on this conversation in this video until you stop the video, acknowledge an area of your life and go, you're so true. There's a big gap. So let's just start this video off with you taking accountability that even if you have trackers or whatever you have for finances, you probably haven't filled them in, or you know it's something you need to do. If you're serious about building a business, when I sit down with any serious business people, every decision is based on data. We have, for example, yesterday I was sitting with my CMO. When we have people landing on our landing page, when we have people clicking on a link to apply, when we have people booking a call, when we have people turning up to a call, all of that pipeline is data driven. And after each of the percentages all the way down, we can tweak things, change things, right? We've got data that would actually give us an ability to make an objective decision of what needs to happen. And that's at the highest level, analyzing data to make changes. But at the level that we're going to talk about today, it's just simply down to some fundamental numbers that if you knew them, it would completely change your business and your life. So let's have a look at the first one. Well, the first one's going to be your monthly turnover target. What is the amount of money that the business is generating? Now, that could be from monthly recurring revenue, which means the amount of money that you have coming in every single month without fail. It could be the cash collected, i.e. the amount of new money that you collect every single month. And then you have what you actually want to achieve. So you have the turnover target you bring in, you have your own target that you want to have, and you have the monthly cash collected. So the amount of money that you bring in. So every business owner at the end of the month would be able to look at what amount of money came in total, what amount of money was new cash collected, and what that is aligned to in terms of your target. Now, how do you know whether or not your target is achievable or whether or not it's actually going to happen? Well, this is called forecasting. So forecasting is basically creating a reverse engineered plan of what needs to happen to get to where you want to be. So if something happened, i.e. if you did this, this is what we are projecting. I'm forecasting forward. If we do this, this is what we'll get. So if I was to say to you right now, if your last month's revenue was 5,000 and you had 5 sales calls and you signed up 5 people for 1,000 each and you had no recurring revenue, but it was just cash collected, then you could tell me that to make 5,000, I need 5 sales of people paying me upfront for my coaching. Now, if you forecast that forward and you say, well, what if I was able to up my sales? I could do 6 sales, therefore I'd make 6,000, but I could also take some monthly recurring revenue payments. So maybe I could get 8 with 2 people paying me 200, which would be 400 monthly recurring revenue. 6 new upfront sales would be 6 grand. So you got 6,400. So you could forecast forward. And based on what happened this month, you can literally look at what needs to happen next month to get to where you need to be. Now you can then go granularly. You can reverse engineer your monthly goals aligned to individual key performance indicators. Only if you track everything, right? So whatever you've done right now, if you did the same, you can forecast that this is what's going to happen. But if you did a bit more, you can forecast something else is going to happen larger or bigger than where you are right now. Now, the second thing you need to do, and we're going to talk about data collection and how you actually do this a little bit later, but the reverse engineering of your monthly goals into weekly KPIs. So now you're looking at sales calls. Well, the sales call is the end result of what you've done to be able to get there. I'm going to stop the video just for 2 seconds because I've got a free gift for you. Now, I created a 5-part mini series called the Online Coach Income Accelerator. And in this video series, I teach you the incredible opportunities that lie ahead for online fitness coaches today. I then talk to you about how to attract, engage, and market to your dream customers. Now, when you have these dream prospects in sight, I then teach you how to land the high-paying clients. Now, to download this, to get immediate access, all you need to do is to click the link in the bio, and you'll receive immediate access as soon as you submit your details. I'll see you there. So you start each week with a revenue target. What do you want to make? Let's say you want to make £1,000, okay? The second thing you look at, well, I've got a weekly target, and if I've got a weekly target and I know that I'm going to get £400, I need to find 600. So the weekly cash collected I need to get is 600. Now, if it's 600, it might be 3 payments of 200, right? It's 3 new sales. So to get 600, I need 3 new sales. From that, if I'm going to get 3 new sales, but I'm closing at 50%, I need 6 sales. So 3 sales, I need 6 sales calls to close at 50%. Well, if I'm going to get 6 sales calls, how many DM conversations do I need to do? Well, to get 6 sales calls booked, maybe I need 120 actual active DM conversations. Well, if I need active conversations, how many calls do I need to propose? Because ultimately to get 6 calls, you may have to propose 15 to get double. Now, whilst you might be thinking of this as this is getting a little bit confusing, we're just layering this down. We're just starting the week knowing what we need to do. You see, so many coaches get to the end of the week and go, it wasn't a good week. Why wasn't it a good week? I don't know. It must be the time of the year. Okay, how many messages did you send? How many calls did you propose? How many calls did you deliver? Yeah, it was just quiet in general. Go back. How many messages did you send? How many pieces of content did you share? Oh, content, I normally do 5, but I did 3 this week. Great. So you didn't hold yourself accountable to actually what needs to happen. How many messages did you send? Well, Monday and Tuesday I was out, so I didn't do many, but Wednesday I picked it up again. So you see, there's no accountability, there's no data, there's no structure. And then at the end of the week, you've got nothing to review. So week 1, you put all the data in, and then week 2, you put the next level of data in. And guess what happens? If you say things aren't working, it's the size of the year, it's the time of the year, you look at the data and go, well, the data doesn't tell me that. The data actually shows me that you haven't done certain things on certain days. So one of the things I never like to do with any of the clients I'm working with is go, this isn't working, that's not working, without seeing data. So as a business owner, you're able to look at your data. You'll be able to go through what you're seeing on a physical spreadsheet that you input or your team input every single day to give you the feedback to maybe the ads that you're running. How much am I spending? How much is it costing me to get a new follower? Is it a quality follower? And from 100 followers, how many calls am I getting booked? 3, right? So you're getting 30% of the calls you booked. You got 100 new followers. It's maybe cost you £1 to get each of those followers, but you might sign 2 people up for $2,500, which is an amazing return on your investment. But you might think, oh, it's not doing very well. The ads aren't doing very well. The ads aren't doing very well because you've got no handle of your data. Now, all you simply need is a revenue tracker, which looks at the sales calls you've booked onto the calendar, how many people showed up, how many people actually closed as a sale, how much cash you collected. Very simple. You then have a tracker for the conversations that you or your team have, and you look at the messages you sent, the amount of people that replied, the amount of calls that you proposed, the amount of book calls that you made, and then the amount of people that showed up. And then that transfers across to the sale tracker. Now, the most wonderful thing with using your data is it gives you an objective view of what's happening with the business. If you've had a lazy week, or you spent more week with your girlfriend or boyfriend, or if you've gone on holiday and you didn't have people in place, that tracker will tell you there's a reason why things didn't happen. If you say, oh, things aren't going very well, and you've had 100 messages, you've had 20 people reply to them, but you didn't propose any calls, there's something wrong about the conversation. So you're able to objectively analyze each part of the pipeline using your data to look at what's working and what's not working. Data tells you everything. If I talk to a business owner that tells me that 1, what we're doing is not working, 2, what they're doing is not working, I said, just present the data. If you want to challenge somebody in the gym that's supposed to be going for lifts in the gym, and you say, show me the data. No, I know I'm not getting stronger. Show me the progressions of the lifts that you've been doing, the reps, the tempos, the loading, and I'll make a decision based on the data. And I look at the lifts that they're lifting. You haven't even tried to push more weight. Your reps were high. You should have increased there. Damn. See, it works in training, objectively. But when it comes to running your business, you're running blind, you're guessing everything. And as a result of that, you have an inconsistent business. Maybe a business that's going forward, or maybe a business that's done very, very well, but you're not looking at the data. The data will give you an idea of what needs to happen to get you to the next level. Now, the next thing to consider is behavior. Behavior, I talked in a previous video about identity. Your current behavior must need to match the outcome that you're looking to achieve in your business. Are you starting each week with targets in place? Do you have targets? Are you starting the week with an outcome? By the end of this week, I need to do X, Y, Z. I will track everything and I'll have an objective view at the end of the week, whether it's worked or didn't. Last week, we changed a video on one of my sales pages. It was having a unfavorable view rate after 5 seconds. So we re-recorded the video and we uploaded the video. And as a result of that, it ended up getting more views on the page because we looked at the data, we analyzed, we changed the video, and it got an increased views from the video because we changed something based on the data. Do you check your numbers at the start and end of every day? Well, I wake up and look at revenue. I look at how many calls we've got booked. I look at how many calls the setters have booked. I look at how many conversations the setters have started. I look at all the data in line with our targets. Are you reviewing cash, sales, and marketing pipeline? So when you look at the pipeline, and I've talked about this in previous videos, the pipeline is everything from your content, your lead generation, your conversations, and sales. Are you looking at everything in terms of cash, sales, what's happening in the sales from the minute somebody's booking a call? What's the short rate? What's the close rate? You might think, oh, this is getting a bit over the top, but you need this data to hand. And then finally, if you're guessing, you're not leading. You can't lead your business forward if every bit of the data is not available to hand. That means that you're driving a business from guesswork. It means that you're not leading the business. It means that you're blind. And as a result of leading blind, you're going to get blind results. If you're going to work with a business coach, if you're going to actually run a business properly, which is the thing that we help Inside Coaching Concierge build, what I'm talking to you about in this video is business ownership. It's business. Some fundamental things in business, and tracking your data and having spreadsheets and having actual numbers that you can base your decisions upon objectively comes down to what is in front of you and what the number says. So when somebody says to you, what do the numbers say? And you're not filling them in and they go, I need to see the numbers. They go, oh, Jesus Christ, just wind it in with your numbers. No, because the person is trying to teach you that the numbers are the thing that drives a decision. Now, that is a fundamental part of building a business. A lot of coaches want to make money. They want to get more clients, but you don't want to do the work, what I call the dirty work. And part of that is the numbers. And the numbers, when they stack up, they give you a real clear idea of what you need to do in the business. Another business piece of advice from me, take it seriously. I've been doing it a long time and we don't make decisions in my business without numbers. And if we don't, then I guarantee you shouldn't be. I hope you found this helpful. As always, if you want more information about how we can help you become a better business owner and really lead a solid business forward that's here for years to come, click the link in the description and I'll show you how. Take care.